So we were discussing about this backend thing. So we can configure like for our state files. We can make use of Artifactory, Azure RM, console, 𝐂𝐧𝐬𝐧𝐭, GCS, Kubernetes. Okay, these all things we can use as backend. So about this, we will be learning in a dedicated session like for state management. There we will discuss about this thing in detail. But for now, understand that we can configure backend into this Terraform settings. Next block is provider block. So in this provider block, you can configure, like you can provide the authentication information and the profile with which you want to create some provision, some resources. Okay. Then you can provide the region, many things you can pass like alias. If you are assuming some roles, so that you can pass here. Profile, region, these all things you can pass. Suppose if you want to create something into region, suppose North Virginia region, like US is 1, so that too you can pass it. Okay. So provider plays a very important role here. So suppose there we have AWS provider, then Azure RM provider, AWS SSCC provider, okay. The name which we have given, and this is having different AWS provider plugin version, and this is having different version. So that too we can configure here for all the things. So like suppose provider for Azure, we can configure in this block and provide the configuration information here, like subscription and all. And for AWS CC also, all the configuration information. So this is how you can do. Okay. So you would have a question in mind, like suppose with this AWS provider version, I just don't want to create only in North Virginia region, but also into different regions like Ohio region. Okay. So how can we do it? Right? This could be a question. So how can we do it? So for that purpose, you can create another provider of same AWS, but here you will use alias. Okay. Alias, you will give an alias name to this particular thing along with the region and fine. US based one. Okay. This is how you will do. Then how we will be making use of this in resource block, that we will be seeing. Okay. For now, understand. Any question from till now? From this section, do you have any question? Guys, kindly say some yes or no.
Oh, what is this Azure RM?
Azure RM is Azure plugin. Okay. This Azure plugin which we have configured in this provider block. So that is.
Okay, so AWS and AWS CC or both are two different things.
So this particular AWS is plugin for the newer version, like we have configured here 4.16.0, and another version we are using here 4.15.1. For that, we have given the name AWS CC.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And,
You were talking about this GitHub, right? So why do we use Git here? Like, I don't understand that.
you didn't listen that. So GitHub, there is a provider available for GitHub as well. Okay, so you can integrate the GitHub repo with your Terraform also,
Okay.
as there is plugin available
My
for.
understanding is like, the provider what we use here is to create the resources in the cloud. But how come GitHub is like Git is making use of that?
Okay, who is talking? Prem Kutan. I think you were in the last session as well, right?
Yeah.
Did I anytime mention that Terraform can only be used with cloud? No, right? I
Uh,
mentioned that whenever, wherever we can make an API call, we can make use of Terraform.
okay. Okay.
It
Okay.
can be on premise, it can be cloud, it can be anything. Okay. Here, if you see the providers, okay. If I am coming to this page again, please, guys, please make it clear into your mind, like what I am saying. Okay. What you are like keeping with you from past, please do not think in that way only. Okay, what I am explaining in that way, think in that way. Okay, so apart from cloud, you can see that here Helm is also available. This is not a cloud, right? This is Nomad. This is, for this also we have the provider. For HashiCorp has another product which is Vault. For that also we have Vault is a store used for secret store. It is not like you are provisioning any cloud here. Okay. Cloud infrastructure. It is Vault store. Okay, it stores the secret, but it, for this also we have the provider. Okay, so Terraform is not limited to cloud only. Okay, it is one job of it to provision the infrastructure. Apart from this, it can do a number of things. Okay, also I may explain that we can make use of Terraform in on-prem if we have VMware, if we are using VMware in our local infrastructure, on-premise infrastructure. So there, that can also, in that VMware infrastructure also, we can do provisioning using Terraform. Okay. So these all are use cases. Artifactory is JFrog. It is not a cloud, right? But you can integrate with your Terraform and do the things. Fine. So these all you can do.
okay.
Got it. Fine. So guys, do you have any question from Terraform and provider question, provider block? Can you
Gaurav, is it
yeah.
possible to just give a recap on what we covered, because like we had a lot of voice break issues. So just give a points like so that it will be helpful for us to remember
Yeah,
what we.
sure. Is my voice breaking still breaking or it's good?
Now it's fine. Like earlier I'm saying.
Okay. So I will again explain it next day. I'm sorry guys for the inconvenience caused because my internet is not stable today. So I will definitely discuss these things again on next Sunday. But for now, I just want to explain you that in Terraform, these are the top level blocks. Some top level blocks are available like this Terraform, then provider, then we have resource block, then we have variable blocks. These are top level blocks. Within it, we define like our arguments. Okay. So in Terraform, we have this required providers block. It is nested block, you can say. This is top level block and this is nested block. In this block, we are actually passing the provider's information, like to make Terraform understand that for which provider I have to work. Okay. So like we have to provision infrastructure in AWS, then we have to pass this information. But this particular AWS here, it is not like you have to pass it as AWS only if you are working with AWS. You can give any name, okay, of your choice.
Hi. Please take a few seconds to like this video, ask your doubts or questions in the comments. Our trainers will answer it. Your response helps us to post more videos on this topic. More likes we get, more videos we can post. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks.
For readability purpose, I am giving here AWS. Okay. If you are trying to use the provider plugin for Azure RM, so for that you can pass information here. Okay. So in this, you have to pass source and version. Okay. So source is something, the path where this particular AWS plugin live. Okay. So suppose coming to this part, AWS. So in Terraform registry, if you can see, this AWS is available is at this location. This will be same for all providers, but this will be different. So from this location, it will install, when we will do Terraform init, it will install the AWS. Okay. So, and then the version information here. So next thing which I thought is you can have multiple providers, that too can be different version of same provider or different cloud provider. Okay. So that you can pass here. So this is the use of Terraform block. Apart from this, when we will learn about the state files, how can we store a state file in a remote location? So in that case, we can configure here backend as well. Okay. So backend block, and you can pass the whatever storage artifact you want to use to store state files. So suppose in case of AWS, if we want to make use of S3, so we can pass in this way. And then the information like what bucket and all. And these all things you do not have to remember. Okay. It is well documented and you can find the documentation here. This Terraform setting block, you can copy from here and put. As per your requirement, you can make changes in the version. For AWS, you can refer from here. If you want to go for Azure, so click on Azure. If you are using Azure and use provider, and you can copy from. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So we will discuss these things again because next weekend I will have good network. Currently I am at a remote location, so that's why it is breaking. Okay. But we will discuss these things again. 1 second. And then we have provider block. So this provider and this name is coming from here, whatever we have passed here. Okay, whatever name. Suppose if you are giving here some other name, so that you will have to pass. Okay. Suppose here you are giving my provider. So you will have to pass here my provider. And in that, you can provide the region information, profile, all those information you can pass. So yesterday I did AWS configure, right? So that stores your credentials here, okay, in this location. In your home location, there will be a hidden file .aws. In that, config and credentials are two files in which you will have the information, whatever you passed during configuration. So this is the default one. Okay, if you are not passing any profile here, so it will take the default one. But suppose you have configured multiple profiles. Okay, along with default, you have suppose other profiles also, developer or admin. So in that case, you can have multiple profiles here listed. So in that case, with which profile you are trying to create, so that you need to pass. Okay, don't worry, this all we will be discussing in very detail. Okay, so profile like developer, if you have, so that you will have to pass. By default, it will take the default profile. Okay. So this is how it works. So this is about Terraform block and provider block. Okay, you can configure, like suppose with the same provider, like this AWS provider, we want to create instances in North Virginia, Ohio, and Northern California, or all three regions. So how can we do it? So we can write this provider block 3 times and give the areas. Okay, I will show you how we will be doing this. Okay. Fine.